you are here during the live, you will see a little red square up in the corner that says live. That's how you know that you are actually catching me during a live. So happy to see you guys rolling in. It's gonna be exciting tonight. Let me just check my feed and make sure everything's going okay. I've had some trouble quite a while now for the last few weeks on my live feeds. So hopefully I won't have any trouble today. Hello Tammy, how are you? I see you guys rolling in. So I'm excited. So for those of you that are brand new, if you are brand new here and you're not real sure who I am, my name's Kelly Weiler and I'm the owner here at Girl Upcycled Studio. I do all things that are art related. I sell DIY paint. We upcycle furniture here. The furniture that I paint usually has some kind of an art related finish on it. So it's all kind of centered around art. Hello, Patience and Patty. Hello, everybody. If you are brand new here, introduce yourself, please, just so I can try to get to know you a little bit better. The more I see your name pop up and the more we interact together, the more that gives me a chance to get to know you and I automatically recognize your name. So, hello Jill, how are you? I'm glad to see you're here. So earlier I posted a little post that said I would be doing a biz chat, and I also ask you to write any kind of comments or questions that you might have about your business. So tonight's post and tonight's live is all about small business. I have a creative business. It doesn't necessarily have to be centered around a creative business. So just kind of whatever you are struggling out with your business, or maybe you're thinking of having a business and you're struggling that way. So I want to make sure that you know that you can type your questions in there, and I'm going to go through the comments when I get done here, and I will read through all of your questions, okay? So I have my laptop in front of me. I have some notes in front of me that I prepared for you. And I'm ready to get started. So also, if you know of somebody else, maybe you don't have a business, but you know somebody else that does, and your friend, and they said they're struggling, you may want to tag them or send this over to them. So maybe it will help them, okay? So, I just want to go through these points that I wrote down first of all. So I'm going to be looking down here and reading a little bit on my notes. And go ahead and type away, interact. I need you to be typing your comments in as I read, and then I'll scroll back through and I'll hit every one of those questions as best as I can, okay? So remember, this is your time, though, to pick my brain. So use it, while you have me here live, because I don't do this all the time, right? Okay, so the first thing, when you start a business, okay, the first thing that I would recommend, and something that I've done, is branding. Do you have a cohesive brand? Do you know what that means when you're branding yourself? Do you know what your brand is? So branding can be many things, but it should be cohesive. Your look should be cohesive. So with my brand, it is art, upcycling, and DIY. So those three things I kind of gauge my brand by, if that makes sense. So for me, when you come into my studio, you will see items that are made by hand. They're made by artists. Even if I find people that aren't necessarily in my own town, I may have friends online and I know that they make their own products. I have people that I know throughout Ohio that maybe I have their products in here. So like there's a girl in Mentor, Schoolhouse Salvage is the name of it, and I have her candles in here, and she puts her candles in vintage wear. And the reason I have that in my studio is because that lines up with my brand. You understand what that means? So that lines up with what I do, what I've created as a brand, and it works perfectly. All of the artwork that I have in here that are from local creators, that matches up with my brand. I sell paints, and I sell stamps and transfers and things, and that matches up with the DIY part of my brand. So everything has to match that. And not only that, as far as physically speaking, as far as just the physical products, but my photos all are cohesive. I try to always have like right now, you can see a guitar in the background. That guitar is many times, that guitar right there is in my photo shoots that I do. I have a vintage red couch that's fabulous, by the way. If you've not seen my red couch, I'm sure you have if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, because usually when people run in my place for the first time, they're like, oh, the red couch. It's the coolest ever. So that's part of my brand. A lot of times my red couch is in maybe a little corner of it or something is showing in many of my pictures. So everything needs to kind of have a cohesive kind of look. So that's really important when you're trying to brand yourself. And I already touched on your vendors to make sure they, not only should your vendors match your brand, but your vendors should also line up with your way of life, okay? When you're working with vendors in your store, in your booth, in your whatever, your flea market, whatever you have, you want to make sure that, that you're going to jive really good. You want to make sure that they're not maybe selling a product that doesn't line up with what you believe in, your way of life. You know what I'm saying? Because that'll lead to some problems too. So kind of like do your research and make sure that everything's kind of like lined up and in check. And if not, you may have to make changes. And that's part of learning and growing. The one thing that I would like to say is I don't want you to hold back on doing anything because you're afraid to make a move on a vendor or whatever. The best way is to give it a try, see what works, and learn from it, okay? Okay, so this is another one now. This is really going to bring it down home to all of you that are like, I got a question from one of you earlier about, I don't even know where to start with my business. And what business? I said, what business is it that you have? I'm trying to think exactly what she said. The first thing you want to do if you're starting out a business, if you want to be legit, you need to get a tax ID, okay? If not, then you just have a hobby, okay? If you don't have a legitimate tax ID where, that alone is going to shift your thinking into thinking like, okay, this is legit now, okay? I'm like registered, I'm legit now, okay? So you want to start there, you guys. Let's do this thing right, and you want to do it real. If not, you're just going to be a hobbyist. You're just going to kind of do it when you feel like it, and you're not going to be serious about it. That being said, too, when you have that tax ID, then you can keep your receipts. You're going to turn those receipts in for all of your supplies, like all of my paint supplies that I buy, everything goes, gets recorded. So that's one of the first things. Okay, the next point I have is, who is your customer? Do you know who your customer is? I mean, I'm going to let you think about that for a minute while I take a drink of water. So that's a big one. Hello, Karen. You do need to know who your customer is. So you need to think about your product. Think about like who's buying your product. Okay, and I'm not talking about like your mom, your sister-in-law. Those are the people that, yeah, they're trying to support you, they love you. But who's that customer that is inboxing you about a certain product, or what are they asking you about? When you talk to them on socials, what are they talking to you about? When you get an email, when you get a phone call, what is coming out of their mouth? And when they speak, are you listening? Are you just talking to them, at them, or are you really listening to them? Are you listening like, oh, like a good one for me is when people say, oh, I would love, like for the splatter and chatter classes I offer, they'll say, oh, I would love something with, a dog or whatever. Let's just say a dog, So I'll jot that down, right? So think about what they want, what they like. So you want to kind of know them, like, as I can almost, when I see people pulling up or walking through the door, I can pretty much gauge 9 times out of 10, most of the time, my customer. I kind of know. And I have different types of customers too. I have the customer that's a DIYer. They want to come in and they want to do it themselves. Then I have a customer that is like, girl, I don't want to touch nothing. I don't want to paint nothing. I don't want to do anything. I work too hard, girl. I just want you to do your thing. I love your style. Just do what you do, okay? That's my other customer. And then I have a third one. And the third one is like girls' night out, the girls that want to get together and they want to come in and hang, and they just want to come in and they want to chill in the environment, and they don't really want to have to think too much. They just want to like have fun and paint these beautiful pictures, and they want to learn how to do it, and then they take it home and admire it. So those are like my 3 main customers that I have in-house here. I'm just talking locally right now. I'm not talking internet or anything right now. Those are my 3 customers locally that I have, okay? So know your customer or customers. You need to be able to gauge them, okay? Let's see. Okay, so once you know who your customer is, you need to know how to contact them. How are you communicating with your customer? Are you using your social sites? Are you using social media? And for those of you that tell me no, I want to shake you and I want to say, why not? Why are you not using social media? Because it is, unless you're just oozing money, I mean, that is, to me, the cheapest way to get the word out is by using your social media sites. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, those are my 3 main platforms that I use on a regular basis, and I communicate all the time with my customers that way. I'm trying to think if there's any more that I'm on. I mean, there's more out there. I don't do much on Twitter. Here and there I might, but those are my main 3. So you need to start building your social presence, your social media presence. If you have not already, you need to get that started. When you get off of this live, you need to get it started, okay? So if those of you that say, okay, Kelly, I have a Facebook page, I have Instagram, but I don't get anywhere with it. I'm not seeing anything. So then you need to ask yourself, why is that? Are you posting regularly? You need to be consistent, sister. Be consistent, okay? It will pay off, but you need to keep doing it, okay? You need to get your stuff out there. And I know a lot of people are kind of like, oh my gosh, they're going to get so tired of seeing my post if I post, this many times a day or this many times a week. And the fact of the matter is there are a ton of people on social media and your little picture is going to go poof, it's going to go by, and there's not very many eyeballs are going to see it. So you can post and post and post, and before you really start getting some momentum. So you need to make sure that you keep that up, okay? All right, so here's another good one. When you're on the social media sites, remember that it's social. It's not about you, okay? So I'm not going to be on here and I'm not going to tell you every little thing about my own personal day. I want to interact, and I want you to be part of the conversation, you the audience, okay? So it is about your audience and the people watching, and it's about really what you can provide for them. I do so much in the art world, and so many of my people that follow my page are interested in art. They at least admire it. There's something about art that they love. So sometimes I'll just get on and I'll show them little things about art, or I'll let them see how I create. I'll let them ask questions. So that's kind of, you need to keep that in mind, and be yourself. Okay, so now the next point that I have is, let's say you've done all these things and you're on your media sites. And this is a big one. Don't go down the rabbit hole, okay? I beg of you, do not go down the rabbit hole. Stay focused, and you need to remember that you are in this for a business, okay? You are in business. You are a business owner, and so when you're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, any of them, you're there for business. So don't get mad like, oh, your sister-in-law just posted something of this, and my friend just did that. Don't get sucked in. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of things that can suck you into what I call the rabbit hole. And sister, it's hard to get out. So you got to run. Like, I say it out loud. My husband will just look at me. I'll be like, oh no, I'm going down the rabbit hole. I gotta leave. I gotta leave that. So it's kind of like, I don't really use my Facebook page for talking to all my friends. If I talk to my friends, I send them a message, a private message, or I do, remember that thing called a phone? I'll call them on the phone. So, if I want to talk to my best girlfriend, I go call her on the phone. I'm not going to be on Facebook trying to find out everybody's business. So don't get sucked into that trap. It's hard to get out. Yeah, and I've got down here, if you do not do this, you will always just be a hobbyist. You're always just going to be in it for the hobby. It's just going to be a pipe dream. So you need to act like the business owner that you are. If you want to be, act like it, right? Does that make sense? Are you guys does that sound mean? I feel like I'm talking mean, but it is true. It's for your own good. You need to really stay focused that way. Now, the next thing is, do you have a way to reach or contact your followers once they do follow you? Do you have a way to contact them? Have you engaged enough with them? And really, it's just a matter of getting to know them. Do you get to know them? I see people, I see their faces when they pop up on my feed, and I feel like I know them. I feel like if they was to walk in, I'd give them a big hug. And some of them I've gotten to meet. They have walked through the door, and I have hugged them. I feel like I know them. So they have opted in to my email list, and I have a way to contact them now. So if I have a special workshop going on, so we just had a really nice workshop, and Debbie and Dion and Kenise were here, and so I was able to give them first dibs on the tickets. And that's part of those people that sign up for your email. You always want to give them first dibs on things. They're your special ones. They're the ones that ask to be there. They want to be there on that list. So I'm very, very careful of my email list, I only send them things that like I truly think that they will like, or that I know is really, really going to help them. Something that like I know this is going to be good for them or whatever. So keep that in mind. So in order to do that though, you do need to have a website. So that's something to think about. You know, you kind of need to have your own thing, your own place, your own hub, so to speak. So even if you're on Etsy or places that are selling like that, you really need to have your own site so that you don't lose any of your contacts. And if speaking of Etsy, if you're on Etsy and places like that, like I do have a few things on my Etsy store, but that's not where my focus is, because Etsy, if you ever notice when you're shopping on Etsy and you click on something and you scroll down to the next picture and it says, oh, so-and-so has something similar to this that you might like, and then they shoot you off onto somebody else's business. And so you kind of want to hone in on your customers, and you want your website really created for them. You want them to get there and be like, oh, cool, let's see what this page is, and let's see what this blog is, and you want them to be excited, and they're like showing their friends, oh girl, did you see this? Look at this new piece that, you know, was just finished. This just reminded me of you. You want them to talk, and you want to connect with them like that on your own website, okay? So the next thing in business that I want to talk about is, you know, once you're established locally, right, you know, and you've kind of like gotten to where you wanted to go, and you kind of feel like you've plateaued. Does anybody feel like they've plateaued in their local market yet? Give me a hands up if you have. Do you feel like you've plateaued? So what does that mean when I say you feel like your local business is plateaued? It's like I can do more workshops. I can just keep, you know, producing, pumping out more. I mean, you know, and you miss your kids, you know, program, or, you know, you're so busy, like the only way to make more is to be here sweating and working. That's when you know you've plateaued, and you're like, okay, I'm missing my family now, you know, or whatever happens in your life. You know, you may have, like me, I have parents that are needing help, and so now I'm at a place in my life where I set myself up to where if I do have to be with my parents to help for a day or whatever, I can do that. I have that freedom now, you guys. That's where you want to get to, because, I mean, you can only get so far in your local market. And things happen. I mean, things can happen locally. What if somebody moves in that's doing what you're doing? What if, you know, they're down the street? What if they're beside you? Who knows? What if you have that? What if you have this is my own personal situation. I had my city close my road down. So what if that happens? You don't have traffic just driving right by. What if that happens? And I'm actually maybe not on the north end, I'm on a different end. So I've created a destination location. That's what I've done here. So this is a destination. I create events and get people to come here, okay? But then there you are again, and you're like, okay, I'm still at the plateau part. I'm maxed out, right? So that's where you can start pivoting a little bit and doing things online. Is anybody else doing that yet? So that's where I'm at right now. And that is why I'm doing this live, is if you are at that place where you're kind of at a pivot, you feel like I've maxed out, I can't put any more hours in, I do all the hours and I'm tired and whatever the case may be, or you may want to spend more time with your kids or whatever. There are ways of pivoting online with your business, because you have to stop thinking in terms of your little town. And you have to think of like what we're using right now, right? So we're on the internet right now, we're communicating, and there are people across the nation that I'm talking to just from this little device. You guys, this is such a great time that we live in for business owners right now, because we can pretty much do business all over the nation or world for that matter if we choose, doing what we love to do. So that is like such a huge thing, you guys, and it's like hasn't been like this before. So we're at a really, really cool point in our lives where we can do what we love online if we want. So with that being said, I've created a membership club. I have an art club. I teach every week in there. I have courses that are on my website that I sell. This is how to do what you love to do and go beyond that local market, right? This is how you can do that. And it's been so fun and so exciting, and I'm still learning a lot about it, but I've learned so much too. So that's why I'm like, if there's anything I could help you with, let me know. I'm happy to. But the last thing I want to kind of just let all of you know, and I want to give to all of you, is a free webinar from my coach. So Jennifer Allwood has created this webinar, 5 changes to make in your business for big growth. So it is awesome. There's no cost to this webinar. I'm going to be watching it, so you can watch it, and she's going to talk a little bit about the roadmap, the creator's roadmap that she has created, which I'm going to be in that as well. But you're gonna learn why more businesses are using like subscription and membership groups. So you see it everywhere, right? You guys have had to have noticed you're probably in some memberships. Think about like Netflix. Netflix is a membership, right? So everything's going kind of online like that. There's lots of like ebooks and DIY videos, online courses. I know y'all have seen them. You guys are getting quiet on me. You guys are like, I know you're thinking now, aren't you? I see your wheels turning. So it's just so interesting to see how the brain works when you stop and think bigger, when you stop and think like, wow, I can make an ebook from this that I do. Think about what you do. What is it that you do? And how could you create something online with what you do? But on this post, if you look, when I get done here, I'm going to answer everybody's questions. But when you get done, I have left a link, and it will take you directly to the sign up for Jennifer's webinar. It's going to be a live workshop that she has, and you'll be able to ask her questions. You'll be able to listen to all the things. Like, she's the one that has taught me what I have done, and I have so much more to learn. But I'm so excited about it, you guys, because it works. It works. And I have to say, my favorite day of the week is the day that I go live inside my group with the ladies that are in there. I don't have men in there yet. They're invited, but I just have a bunch of ladies in there, and I just love them, and I just create with them, and I have learned from them, and they have learned from me. It's just been such a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I just can't tell you enough about how much I love it there. So I am ready to answer some of your questions. So if any of you have questions about your local business, if you have questions about any of the things online, and you guys, Jennifer's so good at explaining this stuff, way better than I am, but I'm going to do my best, okay? But I will say, if you just take the webinar and watch it, you will be so inspired. You will get so many ideas. You guys, she will be giving all kinds of like nuggets in there that you will just be feeding off of. So I highly recommend that you go sign up for that. Okay, so I'm actually going to go through down here on my web. Let's see, wait a minute. On my laptop, and see if I can read it a little bit better down here. We'll see. Hopefully my internet's doing okay. Yeah, it's wonderful to be like having art class online. Like, who would have thought? Like, I would have never thought that when I was younger. I always knew I wouldn't be doing art, but I was like, who would have thought? Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Lori. She says, thank you for sharing my post on your page. That's my pleasure. Jackie Bartow, what keeps you motivated? Oh my gosh, what keeps me motivated is many, many things. The ladies in my group, for one, keep me motivated. They inspire me, and I'm supposed to be inspiring them, and they tell me that I do, but they inspire me. Always looking for new things that I can teach them, and experimenting with new things. It's just been such a blessing. So I'm inspired by my family. I'm inspired by my husband and my daughter. I live in the country. I am inspired by everything I see in the country life. As far as my next painting, the painting I'm working on now has an owl in it, and we have a family of owls that live in our neighborhood, and that's inspired by the owls. So, yeah, that's what inspires me. Jill Sheridan says, you see so many videos online for crafting projects. How do you make yours stand out? Okay, so me personally, how do I make mine stand out? Well, I would say you need to make sure that you're always teaching and you're giving people quality. Even if my video is crappy, because sometimes my video is it's just a crapshoot with my internet sometimes. But I'm always trying to make sure that I'm really being thorough, and that I'm really trying to make sure that people understand the steps. I did this piece live, and just explaining every little thing, and just keeping in mind that just because I do something for a business and I do it every day, that the people watching, it may be their first, second, or third time doing it. They may not know. So I try not to always assume that they already know things, right? So you just kind of slow it down, and I just try to really explain very thoroughly. And then my videos on my YouTube channel, which I have YouTube. If you're not on my YouTube channel, you guys might want to check it out. I'm trying to incorporate different storytelling to capture the audience's attention. So I'm trying to, that's kind of my newest thing I've been studying about how to do, and it seems to help. Let's see. The next question, thank you for doing this. Many of us need this type of outlet. See if I can, I don't know. Can't see all of the questions. I'm gonna just scroll down. So keep typing if you have any questions. Okay. Jill, if you have a brick and mortar studio, do you think it is more beneficial to do live Facebook videos to increase customers? Yes. Yes. Did I mention yes? Jill, Get on your video. Do it live. If you need help, you're close enough where, I can come after you. I'll come get you. Yes, do it. And I will tell you, if you are afraid of messing up during a live, don't be afraid, because you will mess up. I mean, there's always going to be something at some point that will happen at some point. So just get over it and just keep your mind thinking that it's not about you. It is about the people that are trying to learn from you. You're trying to give them something that's going to make their life better. And that is what your focus is on. Not the black bean that is stuck in your tooth, which I did, by the way, went live with the black bean in my tooth. I mean, I didn't die. It happened. I didn't die. It made me laugh. What are you going to do? Okay, Karen. Hannah. Hi, Miss Karen. She is in my group. That is so true. People take you seriously when you are set up for business. So that goes back to setting yourself up as a legit business. People don't try to just slide by thinking you can just do it, just do this on the side. You're going to end up selling places like on Craigslist, and you're going to get nothing for your work. She paints. Hi, Kristen. Also in my group. I was going to put that couch in your painting, but it was more about the chair. Oh, cute. Okay, we have a question for Patty if you're still on here. Let's see if I can get this to... Okay. Any tips on finding affordable studio space, negotiating rent, etc.? I've had an Etsy shop for 5+ years and am desperate to get out of my house and into a studio space where I can work. I work full time, so it can't be a retail space, but being in a space where I don't constantly have to move 20 things to work on something is a top priority. Any tips you can share? Yes, I do, Patty. So our little town has an art community. So I would seek out some of your local artists. I'm not sure where you live, Patty, but some of them are in old buildings in the downtown space, and they're big buildings, and they're hard to heat. So, teaming up with some local artists and asking if you could get like a little bit of a space to, and you tell them what you can afford. You go to them with the amount that you can afford, and be fair, but that is a great way to not only get yourself a great space, but you're also going to be collaborating with other people in the creative world, and maybe even get some other creative sparks and creative juices flowing. Okay. Catherine just found me. She is a jewelry artist. Awesome, Catherine. Patty said she was here for the class. Patty, I think I recognize your little face. I'll have to look at it a little bit closer. Okay, is that it? Are there any other questions? I'm going to look through my... Let's see. Oh, wait, here's another one. Valiant Heart. Hi, she says, I have a website on Shopify, and I would love to list my furniture on there. I'm not sure how I would go about figuring out the shipping cost of a piece of furniture if one were to add that to their cart. I don't even know if shipping a piece of furniture from Shopify is possible. Would love your input. See, I have mine on there, and you'll want to, like, most people contact me, and you just want to make sure that you have it in written down in everything that, you know, they will be charged for shipping. So depending on your piece, like for a really big piece of furniture, you're probably looking at like $250 to $300 for shipping, give or take. So you need to kind of put that in somewhere in your description, okay? And then you also need to put the weight of it and the size of it, and that should be the weight and size of it after it's packaged. Okay, Cindy, some of us have to do part-time. My plan is to have my business build up to speed by the time I retire in 2.5 years. That's totally doable, Cindy. Start now. If you don't have your social media sites already started, which I think you do, but if you don't have that started, that is the first thing you need to do, is get that started. And of course, like I said, I recommend getting your tax ID, because you're going to want to get products and things like that, and you want to be able to write that stuff off and work on getting a little website. It doesn't even have to be a really, really expensive one, but you do need to get a website. And the reason why, gang, is you need to be collecting emails from your clients, okay? Because you don't really own a list on Facebook or anything. Jackie, I'm trying to get to your question, one moment. Okay, Jackie says we need to inspire kids to get into this rough world these days. Any tips breaking through to kids, trauma kids, therapeutic? Do you feel the need to inspire kids? What projects would you start with kids? Well, I'll tell you what, I do a lot of intuitive art in my group. I do every month. We start our month out with intuitive art. That would be wonderful for kids. It's also very, very therapeutic. I feel all art is therapeutic, but in particular the intuitive art, because you are really just putting out on the canvas what you're feeling without the thought of what is it going to look like. Especially on that first layer, they can really just, if they need to throw that paint on there, if they need to scrape in there, they can write words on there and then cover it up. There are different all these avenues of creating an intuitive piece that are so healing. And yeah, that's definitely what I would suggest, especially kids with trauma. Also, I do have a friend of mine, Susan Skinner. She has a group. It's called Hope Springs, and she actually has a therapeutic art group, and it is online. And she actually deals with people with trauma. So I would be happy to give you her information. She has an online group, and it is a private group. And I think she's going to be opening that group up pretty soon. I highly recommend her. She is just very, very just kind and very, what's the word I want to use for her? She's just so good at what she does. So I would be happy to drop her information in here, because that's what she specializes in. Cindy, very encouraging. You are so welcome for shipping purposes. I missed that, I think. Social media is up. Okay, social media is up. She's got the tax ID. She has a website. Next up is lives, videos, and classes. Start your lives. Cindy, why have you not started your lives? Don't make me come get you. You and Jill, get on that. No, really. But I promise you guys, sign up for Jennifer's webinar. It's going to be a live webinar workshop kind of thing. She's real chill. It'll be fun, but I guarantee you're going to learn so much from her. So like I said, there's no strings. It's just a freebie. So go sign up for that. I believe, let me see. It's called the Revenue Rundown Crash Course, and it starts Sunday, January 26th at 6 o'clock Central Time, so that would make it 7 o'clock Eastern and 3 o'clock Pacific, right? But you will have her live there. And I have learned, not have learned, but am learning. I'm still learning from her. So I just want to tell you a little bit about, you know, with my background with her. I signed up in the inner circle. It's been over 4 years now. I've been in her inner circle. So I've done that. I've learned so much from her. I am taking the roadmap. So what the roadmap is going to do, it's going to teach me how to really dive deeper into all these online sources that I'm already like dipped my toe in, and it's really, I'm really going to be super focused, and like I'm going to be just really doing it the right way, because I feel like with the roadmap it's going to be like I'm going to be like, oh, that's what I've been doing wrong. So it's like I wish I would have done it like when it first came out, but anyway, I'm doing that this round of the creative roadmap. Then I have signed up for her live equipped conference, so I will be going there in the spring, and I'll be going to her live conference. So you know, you guys, I promise you the girl knows what she's talking about, because I mean, I'm proof of it. If this girl in Ohio can do it, you can too. So I mean, that's some truth right there, because I would have never thought. Now, and I will tell you, you guys, seriously, you need to be getting some direction from people that have done it and are beyond where you're at to learn. That's why the roadmap, the creative roadmap, it's going to be like more of a fast track. So I've been like stumbling. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to be like, okay, that makes sense. That's a lot easier now. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Are there any other questions? How do I weigh my pieces? I have some scales, so you can get some scales. Get your scales out, and then I put like a wood bar across like 2 scales, and then the furniture goes on top of it, and then you need to add the 2 up. Does that make sense? But you also need to cushion that, because your shipping material will add like another, whatever, maybe 10 pounds to it. So pad it a little bit. Just try it. You know what, Amber, here's the thing. When I first started shipping, I was on Etsy. I started on Etsy, I think it was 2012. I had no clue how I was going to do it. I just put it up there, and then the first one sold, and I was like, oh, okay, crap, what am I going to do? So, and that's kind of just how I do it. I just do it, and then like when you get a sale, it just like, it just kind of motivates you to like, I'm going to figure this, you know what, out. You can get freight scales on Amazon. I don't have freight scales, but yeah, I'm not that technical. But that's probably the better thing to do, what Patty suggested. But yeah, I'll tell you what, when you make a sale, that really gets you motivated to like figure some stuff out. So when I first started, I used mostly Greyhound shipping. Greyhound does do shipping. You need to package it really, really well, but they do it. Are there any other questions out there? I think I'm compassionate. Okay. Yes, she is very compassionate. That is the perfect word for Susan. All right, gang, how long have we been on here? Let's see. We are at, about 7, it's almost about 7:30. So that was about what I planned, about an hour. Anything else? Anything at all? I will, again, let me see if it'll allow me to drop. the link, because I don't want any of you missing this. Even whether or not you take the roadmap, it's not going to allow me. Okay. Whether or not you sign up to do the creative roadmap, which I highly recommend, I'm going to be there. Something else I'm thinking of doing, you guys, and haven't announced this yet, by the way, as a little perk. I am signing up for an affiliate for her roadmap. So anybody that signs up under me, when it opens, I mean, it's not open yet, but when it does open, and you sign up under my link, I will put you in a, like we'll do a live, what do I want to call it? Like a round table kind of thing. And we will kind of help problem solve with each other, all of us. We'll just like go around. So after the modules, so I'm not sure of all the modules. We'll have to see how it's set up and figure it out there. But I thought that would be a really cool extra perk that we could do together. And because you might look at my business and be like, Kelly, why are you not doing da-da-da-da-da? And I'll be like, holy crap, why am I not doing that? You know, so sometimes your head is so far into your business that you can't see what somebody else blatantly sees, you know, like, why are you not selling, you know, this product? You use it all every day. Well, why am I not, you know? So sometimes it takes other people to see that. It's just like, you know, when you think, you know, when you have somebody else come to your house and they'll be like, it's like you can decorate, you think you've got your house decorated, but your best friend comes over and she's like, why don't you put that there and that there? And I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. Why didn't I see that? Because I sit in that room every single day. And sometimes you miss things that are just obvious. All right, well, I hope so much that this has helped you. I hope that your brains are charged up from this. And I hope that you are really thinking about your business and how you can kind of pivot a little bit. And really, you guys, I mean, think about it, you know. I'm here in my studio on the other side of town that's not the busiest, and they've closed a road, and I still have people shopping here. How am I doing it? You know, you guys have to take advantage of, you know, these great things that are out there for us to utilize as business owners. And it just, you will not be sorry. I tell you that. So anyway, enjoy your evening. Thank you so much for hanging out. And like I said, if you're catching this on the replay, put your questions in there, and I'll try to be reading throughout the night for you. But you guys go click on that link and get signed up for that free webinar, and I'll see you in the live webinar. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you for hanging.